Decided to start reading one book a day, and I will admit I started this book actually a couple months ago, but just never finished. So I was about halfway through this book when I started. So I'm not going to say I read this whole entire book in a day, but I read half of the book in a day. So anyway, just here's my book review, just so you know that I actually did read the book. This is a pretty good book. It doesn't get good until chapter 3, I think. So if you can push past the first couple of chapters, it's a really good book. Some of the things that he talks about in this book is, the main thing is just understanding that you have something inside of you that's driving you always, that's leading you in the right direction. Definitely something that I believe, and it's your duty in life to kind of figure out what that is and to follow that instinct, because that instinct is going to help you to get where you want to be. And then you got to balance instinct with intellect is another thing that he says a lot. T.D. Jakes wrote this book. You guys know I love T.D. Jakes. My recommendation though is, and this is completely, like, I absolutely love T.D. Jakes. I think that there are some people who are better speakers than they are writers. I'm one of them. I feel the same way about myself. I think I'm a much better speaker than I am writer. And I feel that T.D. Jakes is the same way. Yeah, he has a lot of great and wonderful things within this book, but he has a complete YouTube series where he talks about, I'm going to put this down because my fingers are hurting. He has an entire YouTube series on this subject of instinct. And I just think the YouTube series is so much better, and you get a lot more out of it than reading the book. So that's my recommendation. Just watch it on YouTube, watch a bunch of his videos, watch a video a day, and that'll definitely get you through. So a couple of things, a couple of takeaways from this book that I took away that I think is really helpful for everybody is, remember to follow your passion, because your passion is always going to lead you to your purpose. And the way to follow your passion is by listening to your instincts. Knowing what you love is just as important. I'm sorry, let me actually rephrase that. Knowing what you hate is just as important as knowing what you love when you're looking for your passion. So if you can't figure out, well, what is it exactly that I want to do with my life? Think about what are the things that make you mad, because that'll also help you to figure out what you're passionate about. I thought that was pretty cool. Always get multiple points of view. So when you're balancing out your instinct and your intellect, you want to always surround yourself with different types of people that always give you a balanced view. I completely believe that. I try to surround myself with people who think completely differently, just so that I get other perspectives. I think it's always good to be well-rounded in that way. Always remember to just kind of be open-minded as you're following your instincts, because remember, your instincts are created by your upbringing. So if you only go by just what you know, you might be missing out on opportunities simply because of how you were raised or whatever. So capitalize on differences with the people around you. Don't tolerate people. You got to accept people whenever you're trying to do business with them. I thought that was awesome, because a lot of times we get to the point where we're like, oh, I just want to close this deal, right? Well, you got to tolerate people. I'm sorry, you got to accept people, not just tolerate them. And then when you're juggling a lot of things, how do you keep your instincts together? Because he's a minister and he, film guy, and he does a whole bunch of stuff. And I liked what he said about just making sure that you always know what the common denominator is, and you're putting just enough touch on each project that it doesn't lose its focus. And then you surround yourself with people who are good at executing those ideas. That was really powerful for me, because as many of you guys know, I get tons and tons of ideas. My walls are always, actually, I'll show you. This is kind of my office. It's kind of junky though, but this is my wall, right? I always have like a million ideas, but then sometimes I have a hard time, when it gets to the execution part of it. I'm like, eh. So anyway, so that was really helpful for me. Hopefully that helps you too. My goal is to read a book a day by the end of the year. So I'm creating these videos so that I stay accountable. And I hope you enjoyed this review. And tell me what you thought of the book yourself.